The students at the school actually recognized food justice as an issue, and so there was an interest in helping students learn about food and where food comes from. The program has 4 components in order to create a campus culture that embraces nutrition and food access. The first is an individualized prescription program for students who come from families that are experiencing food insecurity, and the student is also dealing with a chronic condition such as diabetes or hypertension. Any of those conditions that we know are nutrition related.
We've heard a lot from families about how much they like the recipes and how they were able to kind of work together as a family to make a recipe for dinner or for lunch or whenever they choose to make it.
We also worked closely with the Food and Nutrition Services Department to look at how we could revamp and refresh the meals that were provided on campus, from breakfast to lunch to after-school meals. We worked with both the staff and the students to find out what students really wanted on campus and how we could improve the quality of food that was being served to them. The third piece of this was to create the Normandy Teaching Farm. The idea being that literally as you walk on campus, fresh food would be growing in the green spaces of the campus. Students would be surrounded by it. It would be supported by agricultural classes that help students understand how integral food is to the world we live in. The fourth component of our program is the Nutrition Ambassador Program. So students and faculty who were interested in being part of Nutrition Ambassadors went through a 6-week training with one of our nutrition educators and one of our registered dietitians. The promise was at the end of that training that they would be then ready to go out into the community to provide recipe demonstrations, taste tests, and nutrition education courses. As part of their graduation, they all received a professional chef's coat that contained the logo that they had decided on for NHS Nutrition Ambassadors and their name.
Once COVID happened, a lot of families lost jobs or their kids went home. And so what we see is our families they're kind of between a rock and a hard place. A large part of my job is not just kind of holding all of the cards, but it's figuring out what else is out there in the community that we can connect families to, because we specialize in food and making those connections, but other organizations specialize in different areas, and so figuring out how do we connect with who else exists in the community.
The main partners we worked with immediately to increase food in the community was the Community Impact Network, Beyond Housing, Equity Homes, and believe it or not, we even worked with the National Guard. So we were able to get guardsmen to come help with the major and the massive food distribution events that we were able to put on the weekends in conjunction with Beyond Housing, using their property, their headquarters, as the place where everybody would come, and the Community Impact Network with their gracious funding in order to get the food purchased in the first place.
So pre-COVID, it was great to get together in the classroom and be working together in the kitchen, but obviously after COVID hit, it was a little different. We made a curriculum that was able to be done at home. Teaching through Zoom, it's harder to kind of have that relationship with the student, especially doing cooking classes. So baking powder already has the power or the leavening agent in it. Baking soda doesn't yet, so you'll have to add an acid to this whenever you make your brownies at home. So some of the learning materials had to be spelled out in a way that made it easier for them to do it on their own.
This collective, this group of people worked together so well to see and figure out where the gaps were, where the spaces were, how we can continue to get food to everyone and as most people as possible.